Hi, team. Hi. Who's there? Hey, Courtney. How are you doing today? Hi, Catherine. Good evening. Hi, Megan. Good evening. Hi, everyone. We're going to start. Hi, Nina. We're going to start, and I want to talk about this new flex option. And the purpose of this is to give as much information as I can. There's a lot of things that I don't know, but there's a couple observations that I saw, and I just wanted to just really quickly talk about it with teachers because Go Academy's been receiving a lot of questions on it. Thank you, everyone, for coming today. At 6 o'clock, we'll start our normal session, okay? This is going to be fast, and this is just an overview. Is that fair? So we'll start. Just an overview. I don't want to take time away from the regular section, okay? Everyone knows that this Flex program, and everyone right now, you're taking these exams during the pandemic. And in the last 2 years have been very, very hard for everyone. Yes? Would everyone agree? Everyone's life in the classroom has changed. Yes? And this has made the job very hard. This has made becoming a teacher very hard. Okay, so this is a challenging time. Do you feel the burn? Do you feel the burnout right now? Anyone? Because this is a real thing. This is definitely real. Okay? You probably know a lot of teachers that have left. Who's seen a lot of teachers leave? Or you're a new teacher because someone left. Is that right? There's a lot of new teachers right now because a lot of teachers left over the last 2 years. This is a real thing. All right? It may be a good thing for you because you may be looking for that job and you're able to get that job. It may be a tough thing for you because you've been sticking it out. I think right now things are getting a little bit better. I saw this article in the Wall Street Journal today, and it said that Jersey was going to lift their mask mandate, and that's always a sign that hey, a state feels like it's safe enough. We're moving in a direction. We're moving a little closer, being back to normal. Some of the states, not all of the states. Who feels like we're moving in a better direction? We're coming off the peak. Who's feeling like at least it's getting a little better? Anyone? It's nice to have hope. The last month has been very tough, okay, coming back. And I'm hoping that things will get better a little bit, especially as it gets, especially in our area right now, as we get closer and closer to the summer. That's what I hope. So a lot of this pressure right now, when we talk about this new program, I just want you to understand, where it's coming from. It's coming from these 2 really tough years. Okay. Now this is the program. Who's gone to the website, Pearson website, and started to look at MTEL-Flex? Anyone? It's there. It is in terms of rollouts, it is like the fastest rollout I've ever seen, and a lot of new stuff. And it looks like they went all in a rush. When I mean rush, I mean it's like a lot of new material. Okay, it's not all good, but they definitely threw it all out there. Okay, and I mean like a lot of changes to already changes that have already they said they were going to do. Like for example, all these exams that were planned. Let me see if I can find it right here. All those tests that were going to happen, that were being revamped, right, have been replaced with this, and those exams have been pushed off. For example, I'll use this one as the example. For example, Foundations of Reading. Who's taking the new 190 test? Who's doing the new 190? That test just came out 6 months ago. And now they have an alternative assessment for that new test that just came out. Who hears me on that? So they're making adjustments to the new adjustments. The general curriculum exams, the math and multi-subject, those new exams were supposed to come out in a few months, and they just pushed those down the line a couple months till next year. So these are kind of changes on top of changes. So I definitely sense the feeling of it being, sort of the urgency and sort of being a little rushed. Okay. All right. These are the exams in which this pilot program is testing. We're going to be the pilot program is going to be going to 2024. So this is a long time where they're testing this out. There's a couple of big things. If you were to look at this one right here, I would say that this option is the 1,600 word essay option. So this one right here, if you had to sum it up, you're writing a long research essay. Thumbs up. Versus a general curriculum 300 word essay, or a foundations of reading 300 word essay, or a multi-subject 300 word essay. This is about 5 times, at least 5 times the writing, just in terms of, raw volume. If we one of the things it says, it has eligibility requirements, so not everyone qualifies for this. Okay, here's one of the requirements. Who has if you only qualify for this new program if you tested between October 20th, 2020 and now. So it's really only the last 18 months. So who falls in that category? Most of you do, because you're taking this class, so obviously you're testing. So this is only the last 18 months. So what that means is anyone that tested before October 2020, I'm sorry, this isn't going to work for you. You don't qualify. Does everyone understand that? That's what this one says. It's for teachers that took it on or after October 20th, 2020. I know a lot of teachers that don't qualify. They took a lot of these exams before the pandemic. You only qualify for this test based on what this says. Number 1, if you tested after October 20, 2020. Okay? Yes, so if you're taking the test for the first time, you will qualify. There's a second requirement. The second requirement is you have to be within 1 standard deviation of passing. What does that mean? Well, for the multi-subject and math exams, it means that you qualify to write that 600-word essay as an alternative way of passing if you get at least a 227. Or for reading, history, and ESL, for reading and history, it's a 231. And for ESL, it's a 229. So the passing score, what's the passing score, team, on these exams? What's the passing score? It's a 240 or 80%. So you can only qualify if you're under 80%, but you're around 76%. So it's only for those teachers that are missing it by about 4%. Do you understand? Do you see that? So this isn't for everyone. And it's just for that group of teachers that's just missing it, less than 5%. Okay. I don't know, Grace. I don't know how it matches up with regular certification. I don't know how it will work out, with a pass. But the teachers that would look at this are teachers that are 4% away from passing. And that's what I want to talk about now, okay? Can you do me a favor? Can you type in your test scores? Let's use the general curriculum exams as an example. Can you type in, just type in any test score that you have. Well, it doesn't matter if it's math, history, just type them in. Okay, so I'm going to put down here, 240 is the top of the mountain. And I'll put these other scores here, 227. We have here, I'll do 215. We'll put down here 200. Okay, we'll put down here 100 and 180, 100 and we could do 150. Okay. There's a lot of teachers in the classes that are in this range right here. You don't qualify. The only teachers that are qualifying is this group right here. So we have here 239ers. I saw some 239ers and 238ers. I'm seeing some 237ers. Okay. And I'm seeing some, who else is there? 228. I think you just make it. Anyone else? Okay, 235. And I don't know if you realize this, but this group right here, you are 1% away from passing. Do you realize that? This teacher here is 4% away from passing. This teacher here is between 1 and 2% away from passing. You're really close, team. Okay? I'll use this one as to go through this again. So anyone that's falling in this category, any one of those people that, you're within 4% if you're at 227. Okay? Everyone else here is going to be taking it, and hopefully they're going to pass it the first time. And that would be my real recommendation. Rather than working hard to get to 227 in one of these scores, I would really do your best to pass it the first time. Who agrees? If you're in this zone right here, you should pass it the first. Who wants to write a 1,500-word essay, right? I don't think, and even if I was in that spot right there, I don't think I would write, if I was 1% away, if I was at 230, 239, 238, 237, I'm not so sure I'm 1% away, less than 1% away. I'm going to jump to a new assessment. Okay. But anyways, this assessment here is only going to qualify for those teachers that are 1 standard deviation away. So for these exams right here, these are the numbers for math, reading, history, ESL. Math and multi-subject is 227. Reading is 231. History is 231. ESL is 229. Yes, you can write it from home. Let's go on a little bit more, okay? All right, good. Let's go on a little bit more. Let's talk about it for a moment, all right? Who read over the handbook that's out there? Who read this over? This is a 27-page handbook. Anyone that's considering it, anyone that's falling in those ranges really needs to read it over, okay? You fall under different, they're going to be looking at the level of your knowledge in this essay. I think when you're writing a regular essay, a 300-word essay, when you're writing a regular 300-word essay for the O3, let's say, okay, you can do pretty solid with these areas here because it's only 300 words. In the class, we were working on essays. They're manageable. You're identifying major ideas. You're giving examples, okay? But I think what they're looking for this one, for these ones right here, they're looking for the level of writing to be much higher, okay? So you can't get away with an O3 exam, okay, or a traditional exam. You can get your 3 on the exam, and it can be a relatively basic essay. Intro paragraph, strength paragraph, weakness paragraph, or main idea 1, idea 2, closing idea, a 4-paragraph essay. You can get by with a solid 3 on that, just in these 2 categories. What they're going to be looking at for this 1,600-word essay is something more complex. They're going to be looking for something that's much more polished. Let me keep going here. Let's look at really quickly this idea here. It talks a lot about depth of subject knowledge matter. And they reference several different things when thinking about this. This is something that everyone should take a look at. I think I want to jump to really quickly, they mention Webb's depth of knowledge a lot. Who's heard of Webb? So this comes up over and over again in the document. Yes or no? There's no guarantee that you pass. That's correct. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Who's heard of Webb? Who's heard of the taxonomy one? Who's heard of that one right there? Bloom's taxonomy. It's kind of similar. This is sort of the revised version of it. Okay, They're really looking for these two things right here. So you could get away on a regular exam. So if you're taking the MTEL-03 or 190, okay, or even the history exam, and even some of the other exams, you can get away with us. You could do pretty good with just levels 1 and levels 2. Because you only have to write a 300-word essay. So you could do very good in those categories, and you can get your 3 on that essay, 300 words. They're really going to be looking for an essay that has strategic thinking and extensive thinking. So this is just, that next level up in critical reasoning, and that's going to help flush out the 1,600-word essay. If you haven't heard of Webb's depth of knowledge, this would be something to do a little research on. Can I get a thumbs up on? They mention it over and over again. So this is throughout that document. So what they're saying is, if you want to pass, you really got to score 3 or 4 on that 1,600-word essay. Okay, that's what they're looking for. Okay, I hear you. I'm going to just say this. I'm just going to say this again. Okay, teachers that are in this range right here, you're missing it by on this one right here. You're missing it by just a few points. Okay, this is just a few questions. This 4% is literally just a handful of questions. Okay, I think for the general. Let me clear this off. So this range right here, this 4%, 5% range right here, for the MTEL-03, that's about equal to, I'm going to write down 4 multiple choice, something around 4 multiple choice. Team, give me a thumbs up. Teachers, 4 to 5 multiple choice. Teachers that are taking the 06, the 190, you have to get within that. You have to get within a slightly higher range. You have to get 5 multiple choice more. Okay, 54 around 5 multiple choice. So you're within a 4 to 5 question zone. All right. If that's all you're trying to improve, you'd be saying to yourself, do I either focus on fixing the multiple choice or doing a little bit better on the multiple choice and a little bit better on the essay? But it comes down to 4 multiple choice questions, okay, or 5 multiple choice questions here. All right. So it's a lot closer than you think. Do you have to wait 6 weeks? I don't know, Michelle. I would assume yes. I don't know. Okay. All right. We just did this right here. There's some other slides here. There's a couple of steps that they have. You have to identify. You have to select an objective. We'll look at an example for a moment, but they're going to give you something where they want you to you have to pick a topic. Basically, you have to pick an objective, and then you have to pick a descriptive statement or statements. It looks like they want more than one statement. So when you pick an objective, they're going to want to see a couple of within this objective, I'm going to be tackling statements 1, 2, 3, and maybe 4. So it looks like they're going to want you to talk about at least 3 or 4 descriptive statements. We'll get to that in a moment. We'll take a look at that in a moment. Okay, there's a lot of steps to this. Let me just talk through the steps. Okay, you pick an objective. You identify the descriptive statements, at least 4 that you're going to write about. There's 6 steps. You have to be very, 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 very versed in the standards. So let me ask you this right here. Who works a lot with the standards? This is from the math standards, but who works a lot with the standards? Like, you're very familiar with your topic areas standards, whether it's for math or reading or history or ESL. Who is not? Who is not? I think requires a couple of years to be this comfortable with the state standards. I would think this would be really hard in graduate school when you haven't had any class time. And I just think it would be a challenge. I could understand if you'd been teaching for a couple of years that you would have been exposed to the standards and you would have had lots of practice with the standards. But who feels it would be kind of hard for a new teacher? New teacher who feels like I really haven't had a whole lot of time working in the standards yet. Okay? It doesn't matter what graduate program you're going in. Okay? I think that those that made this program, I think that they're overlooking, a lot of new teachers coming to this. All right? The standards aren't super clear. They may seem clear, but a 214-page document, for someone who's very new, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. All right? But you have to be very versed in the standards because you're going to have to point out which ones you're going to be pointing out and sort of discussing in your essay. So let me go back to that slide again. Okay, so you're going to have to, I want to go back there. Go back to those steps. Oh, back here. So you're going to have to be well-versed with the standards so that you can point out and indicate which ones you're going to be referencing. Okay. And you're going to have to use you're going to have to use it as a resource, one of your resources. Okay. And use one of these. And I think it says here, indicate to Massachusetts Curriculum Frameworks or Department of Elementary and Secondary Education approved resources. So you're going to have to indicate what you're using, and you're going to have to indicate the framework that you're going to be referencing. It wants you briefly to describe what you're going to be talking about. That's really not a big deal. It wants you to cite your sources. All these things we're going to talk about. Okay. You should expect to do at least 3 citations, 3 to 4 citations in your essay. Okay. Let's see, which slide am I at right now, and how much time do I have left? Oh boy. Oh, I don't know if I'm. I gotta go faster. They do have a rubric. They're looking for a 3 and a 4. So if you're going to write this thing and take on this challenge, everyone give me a thumbs up. A pass is probably a 3 or a 4. Now, if you can get a 3 and 4 on a 1,600-word essay, then I think that a 3 or a 4, I think you could get a 4 on the 300-word essay, right? Who hears me there? If you're going to get a 3 or 4 in 1,600 words, then chances are you could get a 3 and a 4 on your current essay. All right. I just think that this is going to be a much bigger task, and the expectation is a 3 or 4. And this one's a much less task. And if you can do that, you sure better be able to get a 4 on that one right there. Okay. Let's look at. Let's see. They also have this. They also have 2s, 1s, U's, and B's. So you can get a lot of other scores, and basically they mean that you don't pass. So there's no guarantee that you pass this. 2s, 1s, U's, and B's could all happen. Who's gotten a 2 on their essays before? Anyone ever gotten a 2 on their essay? Or 1 on your essay? I would be furious if I got a U, and I'd be very frustrated if I got a B, because you're submitting this by yourself. Okay. But there are other scores that you can get on this. Obviously, I think most teachers, when they write this, they're going to be probably closer to the 2. Okay. If it's their first time writing it. All right. I think it's going to be a higher expectation to get the 3 and the 4. I want to look at, in the slides, I want to see how much we have left. We have a lot left. Okay. There is a whole bunch of policies here that you have to read. It's not just your eligibility requirements. It's a whole bunch of rules that you have to go through. You have to submit a statement. Who submitted these statements here for the pandemic, for your school? And I can't even pronounce it. Who's familiar with these statements? You've got to submit these statements here. You're going to be writing this on your own, and you're submitting it on your own. So there's a whole bunch of copyright statements that you have to agree to. All right. When I heard that they were allowing teachers to type it on their own, submit it on their own, what do you think I thought? What was the first thing that popped in my head? Let's see if you thought it too. Type it in. You can write it at your own, at home. Who here's Megan here? A little bit. I mean, these are high stakes exams, right? Is Megan the only one? Gee, that was the first thing. That was the first thing that struck me on this. You're not going to a test site to write this. You're submitting it online, and therefore, there's just so much stuff out there right now. It just feels. I just thought that was a little concerning. I think there's a big difference between going to a test site, taking a test on your own, as opposed to whatever else happens. Okay. I made that statement. There's a whole bunch of rules that you have to read through. I will talk about rescoring at the end. Okay. Let me go to a whole bunch of things that you're going to have to read on your own. Okay. Let me go to, let's use an example of math. Can you take a moment now? This is on understanding algebra as generalized arithmetic. Can you take a moment now? And I just want you to read over number 1 from Objective 20. Can you just read over number 1? I know you're not taking a math class, most of you. This is not that. But I got requests from all different subjects: math, history, science, English, ESL. So I'm sticking with the math one right now. Give me a thumbs up when you've read this 3 times. Give me a thumbs up when you read it 3 times. Give me a thumbs up. Now give me a yes if you understand it, or no if you're like, I don't quite get it. I kind of get it, yes, or not really. Give me some feedback. Recognize and apply the concept of variable, function, equality, and equation to express relationships in algebraically. Okay, there's only 4 no's. There's three no's and 1 yes. I want more teachers. There's over 50 teachers in the room right now. Give me something. Come on, give me something. You've read it 3 times. Yes, no, maybe so. Okay, you want to pick, if you chose this objective right here, you'd want to pick at least 2 or I would say 3 of them at least that you're going to be referencing in your essay. So you would pick an objective. I'm going to do the math objective 20. I'm going to be in my essay, I'm going to be talking about 1, 2, and 3. For math, you have to be able to reference the standards, the curriculum framework. So you would have to every category: history, ESL, foundations of reading. There's a document that matches up with the standards. You have to read it over. You have to be very familiar with it, and it gives you the sections that it wants you to cite from. So it says here, read over this document, and when you're writing your essay, look at these sections on page 33, 37, 42, 48, 54, 61. And incorporate them into your essay. Team, give me a thumbs up. So that means if you chose number 20 and you're going to be talking up points 1, 2, and 3, you're going to have to go to this document here. You're going to have to go to those areas here, and you're going to have to, reading this over, I guess you're going to have to get to page 57 and say, I'm going to be referencing grade 6, critical area number 3, page 54. That means you're going to be referencing what's in this paragraph here to help with your essay. Give me a thumbs up. So you really have to feel confident working through this stuff. Okay, so they allow you 1 page to answer 4 questions. And then they allow you 3 pages to answer, 1 page to answer 4, and then I'll get to it. First, 1 page to answer 4 questions. Everything has to be in 11 points. And then you have a final page, a final section that's the essay. That's, 3 pages. Everything, just circle this. Everything is Arial 11, single spaced. Is that right? Single space font. Yes, give me a thumbs up. So when you submit it, can't be doing double space. It can't be Arial 12, I guess. It has to be Arial 11. They want you to identify, after you pick an objective, they want you to identify the descriptive statements you're going to be using, 3, 4, and 5. So that's from here. That means you're going to be doing, for this one right here, it would be, you chose descriptive statements 3, 4, and 5 are your descriptive statements that you've chosen to talk about in your essay on understanding algebra as generalized arithmetic, okay? You have, I want to get to that section there. You have to indicate within the frameworks what you're going to be working with here. So look at these areas here. This teacher, they've referenced this one, this one, this one, and this one here. Give me a yes, team. That's question 2. Give me a thumbs up. You have to have a description of the topic that you're addressing. They've chosen this one right here. They got a nice juicy sentence on what they're talking about. Team, these for every single area, they have their own sample template. So this is a template for math. There's a couple more things. We're going to run over just a few minutes. So if you're here for the regular class, we're going to probably run over 10 minutes. Can I get that 10 minutes, team? Is that okay? Sorry if you're here, okay? I just want to finish this off for this group, okay? Section 4, the fourth thing you have to do is you have to list your sources. Now, in math, these first two are pretty standard. This one right here is a textbook. All right. You could buy this textbook on Amazon. You could pay this amount of money, or you could get it for this amount of money here. So it's going to cost you about, if you needed to buy a textbook, $200 to $80. Now, if you're not in graduate school right now, who would have to buy a textbook? This is a substitute for the MTEL-03 math. We're using this as an example for a substitute for the multi-subject, the reading. Who would have to buy a textbook? I need more yeses or nos. Give me a yes or a no. I already have one. You're going to have to cite exam. You're going to have to provide sources in your essay. I think that using a textbook would help. These are the ones that they're saying. I'm just saying these first two for math, okay? These are pretty, this would be something that you'd want to be familiar with those two texts. But I'm saying if you're going to cite a textbook like the one that they provide, this is a Pearson textbook, okay? If you're not in school right now, you're going to have to buy one. Who is in school and has a math textbook? And you've already bought it. I am. I have the textbook. Better yet, who's in graduate school right now and is taking an elementary math graduate class? Elementary education math class. Elementary education, not math class. Elementary education class. Anyone? I'll ask that question again. Who is in school right now, graduate school, taking an elementary education math class, or who's in school right now taking an elementary foundations of reading pedagogy class? Anyone? If you're that person, you could use your textbook. If you're not that person, you're probably going to have to get some resources, okay? All right. So, okay, all right. Then it comes to the prompt, the written section. So these first sections here, 1, 2, 3, and 4, you're typing in on one page. Yay? So the first 4 are answered on one page. Have to fit on one page. The next section is where you write. It says it can be up to 3 pages. Arial 11, single font, bracket. Read this over for a moment, will you? Read the first sentence over. I just want you to read this sentence over here. Give me a thumbs up when you read that sentence over. What does this feel like? Type something in. What does that feel like? Give me something. Haven't you seen that before? Where have you seen this type of language and structure before? What does it feel like to you when you read this over? Feels like the SATs? Feels like the MTELs? Anyone else have a response? I was going to say it feels like I'm in someone's graduate class and the professor has a very specific way of doing things, right? Who feels that way? Or college class where you're dealing with a professor and they have a very specific way of how they like it to be done. Yes? That's what this thing feels like. Okay? Feels like we walked into someone's class. Someone's class has very specific rules. Okay? When you calculate this out, it comes out to 1,600 words. Would be rough, almost 3 pages. So you're looking at, that's where I got the 1,600 word essay. Okay? I think that, if writing's a strength, this is go for it. Absolutely. I just want to, absolutely. This is something I have an issue with you only being 4% away. I don't know if everyone's going to pick a 1,600 word essay and do all this stuff, but everyone is different here. Okay. Everyone has to make their own choices. Out of all there are many documents to read. Okay. There is a very detailed, there's a lot of reading, 200 pages of the frameworks. They give you a lot of, and they also give a 27-page handbook. And they also give you, a sample. But there's one thing that's missing. What do you think's missing? What's one thing that's missing? There's a rubric. I skipped over the rubric. There is a rubric. Hold on. There is a rubric. This is the short version of the rubric. This abbreviated version is only 2 pages long. The extended version is about 4 or 5 pages long. Okay, but there is the one thing that's missing is there's no sample. Okay, I could not find a sample. They have those dates. That's on another PDF. They do have a rubric. There's no sample to look at. Okay, and that's for all of them. So that doesn't matter if you're doing the math or the history or the multi-subject, history and science, ESL. They didn't provide any. I thought that was kind of strange because they're asking you to do a lot of writing, and they're not providing what a 3 and a 4 looks like. They're just saying they're kind of saying. You either know how to do a 3 and 4 or you don't. And we'll let you know. But there is no sample. This was my initial reaction. This picture kind of sums up my initial reaction. Does anyone feel that a little bit? That was me. That's not me, but that was sort of my initial reaction to this, which was, it was kind of they're asking a lot, okay? And it's a lot, in my opinion, it's a lot because you're already so close, right? You're already super close. Like on the mountain, we're talking about teachers that they already can see the top. Like this is a teacher that's at 227. They're 4% away. And this teacher's, the 235. And this teacher here is the 239. This is like less than 1% away, less. This is about 1% away. Okay, so it's kind of like you're asking this teacher to stop going for the mountaintop, and they're almost there, and you're asking them to climb a new mountain. For some teachers, that's going to be the best choice. Other teachers, it's not. This is all coming when there are new exams that have been pushed off. So there was supposed to be a new exam for general curriculum this summer. and that's been pushed off a year. So it kind of feels, it feels a little squeezed in. Who hears me on that? This new thing that we should be preparing for, this is the one we should be preparing for, team. Who hears me? This is the one we should be getting ready for. I mean, ultimately, I want you to pass these, and then we got to focus on that, right? So this is kind of squeezed in a little bit. You know, so I guess we don't have to worry about this right now. So I guess, you know, everyone's left with this decision, you know, which is the easiest. Who feels that? Who's asking that question? Which is easiest, the rock or the hard place? Okay. I don't know which I'm going to call this the 1600 word essay and the regular 240 test. Okay. I think the way this is presented, I'm trying to present it. I'm trying to go over it with you, so you can kind of see some things about it. Okay. But a lot of teachers are looking at this and they're like, I don't know which one's going to be harder for me. Okay. Who's kind of feeling that? Maybe you already know which one's better for you. So I would take this new test. Who's this for? I would take this new test if you fall into this category. This is what I would say to you. This test is for teachers that need to pass. Is that a yes? Give me a thumbs up. Yes. That have tested on or after October 20th, 2020. Are we still yes? Who are above 227, 231. Maybe we're still a yes, maybe. Who are very, very, very well versed in the standards. Are you still there, kind of? And who like to write 1,600 word research essays. If those are all yeses, then this is something that you might have a shot at. Okay? This is maybe an option for you. I don't think this is for everyone. Okay? It's sure not helping all those teachers that took it before October 20th in the first half of the pandemic and all those years. It's not helping anyone that scored under 227, most of the teachers in this class. It's not going to help out anyone that's not extremely versed in the standards. If that ain't you, you're going to have a hard time with this. And if you don't like to write 1,600 words and you don't like to write research essays, this is going to be a push. Okay? So this is for a very, very, very specific group. You can decide where you fall. Some teachers say, will I save money? Who's concerned about the cost of these things? Who's concerned about the cost? Right now, you can take some of these for $94. So there's a little bit of a savings, kind of. I guess you save, what is this, $25 here? You save, it looks like you save here close to $49 here, something like that, $45 here. So there's a little bit of a savings, okay? But you also have to think about, you know, you have to get those resources. You have to get resources, whether you get them from a library, right? Or you buy them online. So I don't know how much it's not a huge savings. This is something that I thought also. I thought that teachers this is kind of fast money. Do you know what that means, fast money? You know what that means? It's only $50. $50, right? Here, give me your $50, take it and go, right? It's easy money. A lot of teachers are going to pay. A lot of teachers are going to do it. Yeah, here's $50, here's $70, right? You know, they had $50 has been around a long time. That number has appeared a lot. It was used for retesting. Anyone ever request a rescoring? Anyone ever do that? Anyone here? Do you know, in the 12 years that I've worked with teachers, in every group that I've worked with, do you know how many teachers I've had rescore that have had their scores changed over? I think you have to pay for this. Has anyone done the rescoring before? In other states, I know in other states you have to pay, I think Florida, they used to charge $49, for rescoring. In all the years that I've worked with teachers, I have had, guess how many I've had? Pick a number. Pick a number. 0 through 10,000. 0. I've never had a teacher tell me that they're having their test rescored and get a different result based off of what they wrote. Okay? And in this one right here, in this essay, you're not going to have that option either. They actually don't. They have it in their essay. They say here that since candidates' responses, that means your 1,600-word essay, are evaluated by multiple scorers and have essentially already been rescored, there is no rescoring service for the MTEL-Flex submissions. Does everyone understand that? So this doesn't exist. That was the same language that was used on the regular MTEL. Your score, it won't be rescored. Okay? Here's something else to consider. Who's heard of the new communication literacy exams? These ones here. Julia, this is also, no rescoring for the regular MTELs as well. That I've never had a teacher get a rescore. You can take as much time as you want, Gabrielle, on the essay. Okay? You can take as much time as you want on your essay. Looking at this right here, this is also a new program that came out recently. 4 other exams, options for teachers to help you out if you can't pass the communication literacy exams. This is just for the reading one. So this R stands for reading exam. Who's taking this exam? Who's taking the communication literacy reading exam? Maybe you recall it was 42 multiple choice questions and you had 4 hours or 240 minutes to take it. Thumbs up? Do you remember that? That's called the MTEL-01 reading one. Communication and literacy reading. Who's passed that? Give me a thumbs up. I passed it. Come on, I got 67 teachers in the room here. Give me some more. Now, these are new exams. The NES, the Essential Skills, the WEST, the CASA, and the MO. Okay? These ones right here have about the same amount of questions. This one has even more. And you have a fourth the time, a third the time, a third the time, a third the time. Okay? Does everyone see that? So that should be a red flag for you, right? These should be a red flag. Does anyone feel that? Is that a red flag for anybody? A little bit? Okay. These are the options that they're saying you should go out and try. We're giving you 4 options, aren't you? Right? We're giving you 4 options, but most teachers, it comes down to, the pacing and the timing. And it doesn't seem like it's a fair trade. Now, hey, this one's only $25. This is $38. This is $32. So maybe that looks good. Look at this. This is $50 as opposed to $76. But this one that's $50, you have a fourth the time. So something doesn't seem right with these. Something seems off with that. Okay. Okay. So here's my view on it. I think this is worthwhile. Everyone should take a look at this. Everyone should read this document over on these programs. Go to this page here and you should read over. You should really read over the test book if you're considering it. Please do that. Okay, everyone should read that over for themselves, if that's something that they're interested in. But honestly, I mean, if you're taking these exams, I would stay on target. Who hears me there? If you're that close to the top of the mountain, right? 240, you're 239. okay, or you're 227, you're within 4 or 5% away from passing. This is less than 1%. This is around 4%. If you're that close, maybe you just need a second go at it. Okay. You know, you're so close to passing. Everyone else that's in this class right now is going to pass. Everyone's going for the 240, right? Everyone's shooting. No, everyone's shooting for the 240. No one should settle for a 227 and then feel like, yeah, I'm going to do 1,600 words. Everyone should, in this class, moving forward, everyone's going for the 240. Okay. I think that's the way to go. Okay. We want to win this game. We don't want to almost win and then start a new game. That's my feeling. I think that we get to the 240 by identifying areas that we need to work on. Skills for you might be your pace, or growth may be content. Who hears me there? It's one of these. You got to work on content in history, science, English, or you got to work on pacing, or maybe a little bit of both. Who's a little bit of both? Pacing and content. A little bit of both. But I think honestly, this is the best way to win the game. The best way to get to the 240 is work on your pacing a little bit better. Let's just say 5% faster. Work on your content a little bit better. Just 5%. Okay? Hi team, this is Chris Abraham from Go Academy. This spring, Go Academy is turning all the workshops into webinars. This is designed to help teachers continue studying and getting ready for their exams and stay at home at a safe distance. These classes are going to be covering the same material as a regular workshop. We're going to do them in 7 hours, and they're held on Saturdays and Sundays in the morning from 7 to 10:30 on Saturday and Sunday. These classes are geared for teachers that are going to be studying April and taking their tests late April, May, and June. And we'll also be doing webinars throughout the summer. I encourage you to check out a webinar. I'm sure you'll find them very helpful.